Hawa, much aloha to the family, much aloha to the tribe. Welcome back to another episode of Templar Up. I'm your host, I'm your Templar, Urban Reed, and today we're going to do a special third wave episode of the Templar Up here. This is going to be sort of like a special Passover edition, as it were. Again, much aloha to the family, much aloha to the tribe, much aloha to the Shabbatah, holding it down, dragons on the wall, all the same. Thank you so much for supporting 432drop.com. Thank you for being a dragon on the wall, supporting the tribe and what we do, and teaching and trying to get it out there. The indigenous truth. And also, aloha to Brother King for providing a platform, for us to have a voice, as well as a place for us to come together, keep the fires burning and the waters flowing, so that at any point in time, you can come by 432drop.com and get the drop, stay in the Wata. As you can see, what we're going to get into today, we're going to try to get as unleavened as possible. We're going to try to get to the heart bone, the spiral. Now, and to maintain perspective on a lot of different things, we have people out there that's going to be vexed with the information that they come across that we present. You're going to have people who are highly educated, high academia, that's going to question, try to pick apart what we got going on. You also have people who are new to the wave. They never, everyone comes from different backgrounds. Some people may be coming from a Christian background. Some people may be coming from a Circle 7 background. Some people may be coming from, an atheist background. But they're new to the wave. And for some reason they got here. Some people might have been rocking, for quite some time. And I bring that up is because here, second season, third wave, that's a broad spectrum of people to try to bring understanding to. And one of the things that we always hammer on, foundation, orientation, following the commandments, and that comes with learning how to dodge your own hijack and how to dodge the hijack. So there's certain fundamentals, and hopefully by the end of this drop, you will be empowered with some of those fundamentals, as it were. And those fundamentals goes back into this spiral, to the heart bone, the Dragon 9. And they say that with knowledge comes power, but what we don't realize is that a lot of the power that we had and displayed in the past has been taken away from us. There's certain connections out there that we've gotten away from, and I want us to connect back to the heart bone. I want to connect this back to the spiral, because the spiral is the symbol of the heart bone. It's it's a modern misunderstanding of ancient truth, in the Picto that this represents the heart bone, the spiral, the 9. This is the original fingerprint of the god of Hawa, the fingerprint of the gods, as scientists like to say. They're looking for the Higgs boson and the God particle and all this other stuff. But this right here is the original fingerprint. Okay, and this is that even have been proven in modern times. For example, what we're going to do is real quick, we're going to belly flop over here to this video here. This is Francisco Torrent Guas, New Science of the Helical Heart, published here by Nuki Channels. Alright, now this drop came back in 2017, okay, and I'm just going to dig on a few minutes on it, but yeah, let's dig on it.
After 25 years of dissections, Francisco Torrent Guas finally unraveled the Gordian knot.
Okay, slow down. So, first, before we get into it, what does he mean by helical heart? Right? Let's first get a foundation here. So helical. Helical means, in the Greek, scroll, a spiral body. Excuse me, a spiral body. Spiral, winding, moving round. Okay. Take to the etymology. Spiral shape, 16th century, or source of 1600s, from the Latin helicum, nominative helix, spiral, helix, plus al. So let's look up helix. Okay. A spiral thing. Okay, 1560s. Originally the volutes of Corinthian capitals, from the Latin helix, spiral, a volute in architecture, from Greek helix, genitive helikos, a word used of anything in a spiral shape, an armlet, a curl of hair, the tendril of a vine, a serpent's coil, which is related to the Elene, to turn, twist, roll, from the pie. Well, ik, star W-E-L dash I-K dash, from the root star W-E-L dash in the third, to turn, revolve, from the prior root well, to turn, revolve, classical plural, helis, okay? Take the pie. So, in the pie, this word helix takes us back to well in the third, and it forms all or part of archivolt, circumvolve, convoluted, convolution, devolve, elytra, evolution, evolve, helicon, helicopter, helix, helmet, lorimer, eleus, involve, revolt, revolution, revolve, valve, vault. Verb in the first, jump or leap over, vault. And the noun in the first, arched or roof ceiling. Now we're talking firmament, right? So the vibration that we talk, the firmament, is in the form of also what? It's the same vibration that gives us the helix, right? Okay. Voluble, volume, voluminous, volute, volvix, volvulus, vulva. Now we're talking about the womb, right? Being born into the matrix. Majaha. Well, walk, wallet, wallow, waltz, well, to spring, rise, gush. Welter, whelk, and willow. Okay? You guys can continue to dig on it as well. But we're talking about what? The wheel, right? Spiral shape, right? Okay. So I think we're getting it, but let's be reminded of our picto-paleo. What we're talking about, right? What we're talking about? Talking about the God, the rope, the what? The twist, the dark, right? The wicked, the hidden, the GH that has a sound, but there's no symbol for it, right? In the modern Hebrew, Greek, or Latin, this is what? Your DNA, right? So in any case, so let's dig on it. So we're talking about the helical heart, okay? So the rounded heart. So let's dig on it. Take it away.
By dissections, I arrived to the conclusion that the vertebral myocardium was represented by a muscular band.
Let's see if we can, I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the closed caption thing, kind of help things out a little bit for those that hard to understand.
Was running from the root of the pulmonary artery to the root of the aorta. Describing a helicoid in this case. And you see that in this helicoid is delimitated right ventricular cavity and then left ventricular cavity. And that is really my contribution to the knowledge of the macroscopic structure.
What you are about to see is the dissection of the myocardial ventricular band performed by Francisco Torrent Guasp. Here, a cow heart will be dissected. All mammals and birds were found to have a similar heart structure. The heart is first boiled in water to soften the connective tissue. The atria, aorta, pulmonary and coronary arteries, as well as some fat, are then removed. The first anatomical fact to observe in the dissection of the myocardial band is represented by the anterior interventricular sulcus. This sulcus is crossed by aberrant fibers coming from the anterior aspect of the left ventricle to the free wall of the right ventricle, which in effect hold both ventricles together. Using only his fingers to bluntly dissect the heart, just following the natural directions of the fiber, Torrent Guasp begins by cutting through the aberrant fibers along the sulcus and separating the pulmonary artery from the aorta. In this manner, the free wall of the right ventricle can be opened, revealing the right ventricular cavity. A second anatomical fact to observe is represented by the posterior limit of the right ventricular cavity, where the free wall and septum meet. Here begins a cleavage plane that must be followed all the way to the root of the aorta. At this point, you can see, once again following the direction of the fibers, how they descend into the well of the left ventricle. Next, Torrent Guasp cuts the left fibrous trigone and follows the descending fibers, separating them from the more superficial ones. Turning the heart around and looking at the septum, a third anatomical fact can now be observed. Here you can see two layers of fibers. One runs up almost vertically to the aorta, while these fibers cross almost horizontally. A cleavage plane is in this way defined between the two layers. Torrent Guasp continues the dissection, following the cleavage plane, separating the two layers. Then, by cutting the right trigone, he is able to free the aorta and unravel the myocardial band. The ventricular myocardial band, running from the root of the pulmonary artery to the root of the aorta. A singular muscular band that twists and loops like a rope into a helical structure, forming the left and right cavities of the ventricles.
Dang. Talking about the heart bone, right? talking about that Spiral 9, right? It's important for us to get this concept. And the reason why it's important for us to get this concept, because this basic principle, it's in everything. And once you understand this basic principle, this is your dragon magic. I'm trying to empower you with the knowledge and give it back to you, that which has been taken from you. That which was natural to you, which was your understanding of your dragon magics. Understanding the Dragon 9. Because it explains everything. There was a point in time where art and science were one and the same. And that separated. And, but you know, now here it is. You know, we just got this wonderful drop on how this doctor explains how the heart bone is like a rope, right? It's a spiral. But he also called it a Gordian knot. Now, I just want you to, you know, keep in mind and compare, you know, how many heart surgeries have been, you know, executed improperly for the lack of knowledge, right? Or the hubris of modern understanding. Okay, like, you know, we've heard different drops of people going into these hospitals and this, that, and the other, or being told one thing that's just unnatural, it's out of sync. Now, before we move forward, we're going to notice that when we started this, going back to the 5-minute mark, this guy called this a Gordian.
After 25 years of dissections, Francisco Torrent Wasp finally unraveled the Gordian knot.
The Gordian knot. So let's look that up. The Gordian knot. Alright, Gordian knot. The Gordian knot is a legend of Pythagorean, am I saying that right? Phrygian Gordium associated with Alexander the Great. Now, we didn't search for Professor John, understanding that Alexander the Great is one of the 9 worthies. He's also Alexander the Greek. But we think it was in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands? Or Legend John, Professor John Legend and his sources? They were speaking of an Alexander. We were digging on that. Okay? It's often used as a metaphor for an intractable problem, untying an impossibly tangled knot, solved easily by finding an approach to the problem that renders the perceived constraints of the problem moot, cutting the Gordian knot. And that's what the announcer was saying in this video, what this scientist basically did. Now, why would he use that term? Let's go down through it real quick. And let's see here. And you guys can dig on it, but in any case, several knots, several knots, all so tightly entangled that they are impossible to see how they were fastened, right? But the point, when it comes down to solving the Gordian knot, is, when you dig on it, is that when the solution has been rendered, basically, it seems, once the solution is shown, then it's like, oh, well, anybody could have did that, or anybody could have figured it out. It's so simple. Let's see here, because they're talking about priest kings here, so let me bring this back. Let's see. Based on the myth, the new dynasty was not immortally ancient, but widely remembered origins in a local and non-priestly outsider class, represented by Greeks, reports equally as eponymous peasant Gordius, or the locally attested authentic Minos on his ox cart. Other Greek myths legitimized dynasties by right of conquest. Compare Cadmus, the legitimizing oracle stress, and this myth suggests that the previous dynasty was a race of priest kings allied to the unidentified oracle deity. So we got some similar priest king drop, right? Isn't it? We've heard that story before. Okay, we heard that story before. But when we talk about knots and spirals and everything, we're talking about that Dragon 9. What are we talking about here? All right. What are we talking about? When did the arts and sciences separate? You see, we're talking about this knot right here, the one in the middle, right? This is what we're talking about. You know. Now, depending on how this shows and records, in this image you can see the feathers, right? That crown that's very reminiscent of our Aboriginal crowns you see in our ancient pictures, right? You can see the skirt, right? When the dragon eyes are all flowing and going, you see the wings, right? Right. So, what we talking about? Well, talking about them nines, man. Talking about them nines. Now, all this plays a role. So let's get it like it's the first time and fall back. The answer to who is Prester John goes back to this Dragon 9. Goes back into the Platonic solids. Sacred geometries, right? It goes back to the golden mean, the golden ratio. But why is it golden? It's golden because it's in everything. It's everywhere. And if you can get this and understand this, no matter what science or art you get into, if you can understand it and keep this as a formula, as a foundation piece, as a foundation stone, you know, your fundamentals, there's nothing that you can't learn out there because everything is based upon this, or a replication or a duplication of this. Nine models everything and no thing. Yeah, man. yours. But we're talking about the golden ratio. That's what we're talking about. Okay? And when you I want to sidetrack with this real quick. Yeah, let's sidetrack real quick. Actually, let's not. But let's go ahead. Y'all want to do a quick sidetrack? Let's sidetrack real quick. So we're talking about the spiral, right? Talking about the spiral. Surf the wave with me real quick. You see, we live in this world of society, man, where they try to teach you that you're dumb and you can't learn nothing and all this other type of stuff, but they're not giving you your tools necessary, So when you're in the back of the classroom, and getting a drop, all their secret teachings and occult teachings and all that good stuff, man, goes back to this golden ratio, the spiral, this dragon 9, heart bone. Spiral, right? Spiral. Let's see here. 1550s from Middle French spiral, 16th century from medieval Latin spiralis, winding around in a fixed center. A coiling. Mid 13th century from Latin spira, a coil, a fold, a twist, a spiral. From Greek spira, a winding, a coil, a twist, a wreath. Anything wound or coiled from the Pyrrhus spear, from base spear, to turn, to twist. Spiral implies spiraled. Transitive from spiral, the noun. Okay. Then we got spiral, right? U.S. football since 1896. Figurative sense, pay attention, figurative sense of progressive movement in one direction, right? It's about when? 1897, right? Okay. But the word spiral, take it to its root, right, goes back to what? Spiral, right? Word forming element, meaning twist, spiral, or world. From combining a form of Latin spiral, coil, twist. From spiral, see spiral, take it back to spiral. There's something about this word y'all to check out on. What was it? There was something about the pi root. In any case, I don't want to waste time. Let's go back. So we're talking about the golden ratio. So, the question one should ask, or should be asking, no matter what you believe or how you believe, really. And that question is, if you are a portion of God, what is your proportion to God? Ask it again. If you are a portion of God, then what is your proportion to God? And this is where we're talking about the golden ratio, right? Alright, the golden ratio. In mathematics, two quantities are in the golden ratio if the ratio is the same as the ratio of the sum to the larger of the two quantities. The figure on the right illustrates the geometric relationship expressed algebraically for quantities A and B, with A being less than B being less than 0. Okay? Let me get this basic formula for the Greek letter phi. It represents the golden ratio. It is an irrational number that is a solution to a quadratic equation, right? X squared minus x minus 1 equals 0. Okay? I'm going to give you that value of 1.1680339, so on and so forth. Okay? Golden ratio is also called the golden mean, right? The golden section. Okay? Other names include extreme and mean ratio, medial section, divine proportion, right? Divine proportion, divine section, right? The golden proportion, the golden cut, the golden number. Mathematicians since Euclid have studied the properties of the golden ratio, including the appearance in the dimensions of regular pentagon and in a golden rectangle, which may be cut into a square, and in a smaller rectangle with the same aspect ratio. Golden ratio has also been used to analyze the proportion of natural objects as well as man-made systems such as financial markets. Okay, in some cases, go back. Sorry about that. Financial markets, and in some cases based on dubious fits to the data. Hey, I want y'all to remember this. Has also been used to analyze portion of natural objects as well as man-made systems such as financial markets, in some cases based on dubious fits to the data. Okay? This is very important. Okay? So, why is this important? Well, we're only talking parallel timelines in history. You see, even if man manufactures history, this pattern, this shape, this fractal is going to show itself. Let's get it like it from the top. Parallel timelines in history.
Geography to verify chronology. Although people use it then to make comparisons. We have an obvious argument. What we need to always bear in mind is how things get dated, particularly in ancient times. I mean, in modern times, we know to some extent how things get dated. But imagine you're a historian, okay, from, say, 300 AD or 500 AD, possibly even 1200 AD or later. First of all, it's not entirely clear that your intention in writing history is the same as the intention of a modern historian, namely to give a faithful chronicle of events. We cannot take this for granted at all. As a matter of fact, it's a fair assumption that many ancient writings would have a sort of moralistic purpose. They were much more in keeping with historical interpretations that we have of the data, but you shouldn't throw out the data. In my opinion, the data is incontrovertible. You see on the right-hand side, this is...
Whoa. Are we talking about a helix? That spiral shape, right? A helix? That serpent's coil? Okay. Alright.
The Roman Empire from 82 BC to the 3rd century AD. On the left-hand side, we have the Roman Empire from the 3rd century to the 6th century AD. And we are writing the Roman emperors in the order in which they occur according to the chronicles, according to the histories. There's a long range. This diagram is supposed to show a kind of symmetry between a period of time in which you have a sequence of Roman rulers, and then a period of time more than 300 years later, in which you have another sequence of Roman emperors. So you understand the principle behind the figure. It was meant to show the symmetry between lengths of reign of emperors who are understood to have reigned more than 300 years apart. Toward the end of this period in Roman history, we have a sequence of 4 emperors who all reigned for less than 1 year. Okay, they would die or they got mocked by the legions or whatever it was. And that's paired by a sequence of rulers who all reigned less than 1 year on the other side. Okay, very, very conspicuous. Now, the other thing that's interesting is this period, sort of in Roman history, ends with an invasion by the Goths, where you have Caracalla. Oddly enough, exactly on the other side, you have a second, let's put it this way, quote unquote, second invasion of the dots.
Where I talked to them, want to get a hypothesis, want to go off and run with it, to the exclusion of everything else before they understand anything about really what's going on. And I think that people have no business saying hypotheses about this until they really understand the extent and depth and the weight of what he's done. I mean, like anybody really nailed down a hypothesis. Obviously.
Well, it's either your ancient love song or this new tune. And apparently, your ancient love song got all the drop. Because it doesn't matter where, you can't avoid it. Even in man-made systems, you're going to get this golden ratio appearing. Okay, the golden ratio appears in some patterns of nature, including the spiral arrangement of leaves and other plants. Okay, let's see here. So we can just simply dismount, get into the mathematics of it all. Let's take it back here. I think this is where I want to pick it up. I do. I think so. Alright. History. Golden ratio has been claimed, been held special fascination for at least 2,400 years, although without reliable evidence. According to Mario Livio, some of the greatest mathematical minds of all ages, including Pythagoras and Euclid in ancient Greece, through the medieval Italian mathematician Leonardo of Pisa, and Renaissance astronomer Johannes Kepler, to present-day scientist figures such as Oxford's physicist Roger Penrose, have spent endless hours over the simple ratio and its properties. But the fascination with the golden ratio is not confined to just to mathematicians, biologists, artists, musicians, historians, architects, psychologists, and even mystics have pondered and debated the basis of this ubiquity and its appeal. In fact, it is probably fair to say that the golden ratio has inspired thinkers of all disciplines like no other number in the history of mathematics. It's not confined to just math, people. Biologists, artists, musicians, historians. You can't get away from the golden nine, the golden ratio, the dragon nine. Okay? It's in everything. Even in the abstract thought of what we call history. Okay? So, I just want to kind of give you some indigenous truth with no leaven. Alright? Let's keep, what we're talking about, photonic solids, right? So, I hope you guys enjoyed. You guys can stop, pause it, and read it, fill up the links, but hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Templar Up. We're just talking about the Dragon 9. There's a couple other things I want to kind of touch bases on, but I'm going to just end it right there and let you guys dig on it, man. But yeah, we're just talking the Taurus, man. We're talking about the Dragon 9. We're talking about the spiral. We're talking about the heart bone, right? It goes back into what? It goes back into your Picto-Paleo, because even your Picto-Paleo follows that sequence. Okay? Still follows the Dragon 9. That's why when you study your Picto-Paleo, you can study it in sequence and it still tells you a story. Alright? But, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Templar Up. Please join us at 432thedrop.com. Much Ahab family. Peace. And we'll get it back next time, man. Hawa.